Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to another Chamber Check-In episode from Idaho's only five-star accredited chamber. I'm so excited today to feature a staffing agency. You know, this Treasure Valley's biggest challenge is workforce, and today I'm really excited to feature. We've got two amazing, incredible people today with us from DPI Staffing. I'm going to bring them on right now. Well, hello, Sarah. Hello, Jaci. How are you doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for carving out some time with me today. You know, these chamber check-ins, Sarah and Jaci, have been featuring our chamber member businesses for over 4 years. And the purpose and we started them during the pandemic. And it was a way to check in on our members and to see how they are holding up. And it's really turned into twice a week featuring chamber member businesses, their services, and their origin stories, but most importantly, the people. So let's start out with you first. So Sarah Joy and Jaci Gentry are both with DPI Staffing. So Sarah, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how long have you been with DPI and what your role is?
Very good. Thank you. I just moved here about 1.5 years ago from Seattle, and I've been doing business development in a bunch of different industries prior to that, and did some consulting as well. And so I got the great pleasure of joining DPI Staffing just a month ago. And the reason that I came to them and the reason that I'm really excited about it is not only do I have the opportunity to do business development, which I love, but I get to work in a nonprofit that has a mission. And as you know, we're mission driven, and we're a social enterprise, which is what we call ourselves. We get to solve a social problem through a market driven approach, and which is what I'm all about. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome, Sarah. Jaci, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and how long you've been with DPI and what your role is.
Yes, thank you. So I am a born and raised Idahoan. So I'm originally from North Idaho and migrated south here a couple of years ago. And I fell into staffing. My background is originally in people operations and project management through retail and food service. So I've experienced a lot of different industries, and then happened to slide into staffing and realize that recruiting and just genuine full-fledged full cycle recruiting is what I love. And so I've been very fortunate to also find a company that has the social mission and the social impact and the community-minded, mission-driven focus to be able to align my own personal values and take on a company's values and make those connections for people that may have a disadvantage in the community or a barrier of some kind and maybe overlooked. Kind of marry those two together.
Wow. Jaci and Sarah, what I learned today, and I learned a lot from these chamber check-ins from people, but just now I learned that all three of us have something in common. Well, at least Sarah and I, you and I, we're both from Washington State. I lived in the Pacific Northwest my whole life. And I have family that lives just south of Seattle. And Jaci and I, we just found out we're both Bengals. Go LHS Bengals. Woo, woo. I think that's cool. Okay. We talked a little bit about staffing and workforce. And again, that is one of the biggest challenges that every business faces. And we hear it all the time at the chamber. Mm-hmm. So staffing is so important to the Treasure Valley, the state of Idaho, and the nation for that matter. I would love for you, maybe we'll start with Sarah, tell us the story of DPI Staffing. When did it begin and where? Is it a national organization? Is it just in Idaho? Help me share.
Sure. So we're actually headquartered out of Portland. And in 1971, we began as a disability staffing company. We were funded by St. Vincent de Paul, and so we started off as De Paul Industries. And since then, that has changed, and now we use the title DPI. But about 10 years in, they hired somebody as the leadership to be more invested in how to make it work a little bit better as a nonprofit. And this guy came in with an MBA and said, what if we were to tie it to that market aspect? And so we had, they opened DPI Staffing to fund the disability arm of the company. Right. And so since then, we've morphed into a few different companies. We're the DPI group, and there's different arms underneath that. There's even, we produce knives in Portland, and that's all civility people. Right. So we have a bunch of different missions that we manage within the DPI group. And then they have since expanded from Portland. Now I think, do we have 8 shops?
We're in 7 different states.
7
now.
states. That's what it is. So we're in 7 states and looking to grow into more. So we will soon be a national company.
Wow. Jaci, anything to add on the origin story of DPI?
Yeah, I would just also add too that Sarah had briefly mentioned all the different branches that we have within the DPI group itself. So we're just kind of a small portion of the social enterprise that's all focusing on that mission-based, disability and employment barrier focused toward our people. And we also have a security sector. We have a janitorial sector. We also have a different sector that actually operates here out of Boise called Meadowlark Employment Services.
Yep.
And they do like the actual out on the job with their employees, doing that one-on-one job coaching and job shadowing for individuals with maybe more severe disabilities that can't work alone. So they offer that one-on-one service, which is awesome. So we have that one. And then we also have another community service network based out of Portland. They do a lot of job fairs and a lot of just really trying to find people the resources they need in the community for whatever it may be, for like food instability or housing instability, healthcare related things. So we really truly are just a social enterprise that's doing so many different things, all with that community impact in mind and that social impact.
That's terrific. I'm glad you echoed what Sarah had to say and then included more some of the industries that you serve. I worked for Albertsons for many years, and we work, you have 80 to 100 people a day that is in a store. You're getting work done through people. And we had courtesy clerks and grocery stockers that had barriers to employment. And I remember the job shadowers that come through, and they're so awesome to have.
Oh, yeah.
Just help focus and I got to create relationships with those team members. I'll always remember them, and through my whole life, I even tell stories of the interactions I had with people that I worked with through Albertsons to my kids today. It's just incredible the work that you all do.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, we're talking about social impact. And what DPI Staffing Agency does, it creates a positive social impact by connecting businesses and government agencies with skilled professionals, right? You staff people in different industries. And then more than just a staffing agency, giving opportunities to those that face barriers. So there's 2 sides to DPI Staffing. Mm-hmm. We mentioned some of the industries that you serve. And now I want to talk about some of the benefits for those job seekers that come to DPI Staffing. Who would like to take that?
I can go on that.
Yeah.
Well, so for both the employer and the job seeker, one of the great benefits of staffing is that you get to test run each other, and you test different industries, different jobs, different cultures, or different people to see whether or not you're in a good spot, see whether or not you like it. For our employees, we also offer PTO and benefits after a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
And then for employers, again, they're getting to test this person and see whether or not it's a fit for their culture. And at the same time, we're taking the risk while they do that. So those people stay on our books, and we manage their payroll. We manage the taxes and the workman's comp and et cetera, so that they're free to just work with the person before they take them on. So that it works out really well for a lot of businesses that if they're not sure, or if they have needs for temporary that might turn into something, we can be a great fit for that.
Jaci, with your almost 10 years of experience in staffing, what other benefits have you seen DPI that's risen above the rest?
Yeah, I think it comes back to we have a very thorough screening process to protect the benefits for both our associates as well as our clients. So that part is back to your part, how you said you built these relationships while you were at Albertsons and you tell your kids stories. And that's that's really the part that kind of keeps you going in the staffing world. And that's a huge benefit for everybody all the way around, is building those relationships and making people be a part of getting their life back together, or getting, the next step of they get into a company where they can grow and they can make a future for themselves and their families. And they just have so many opportunities that they may not have had without this job, because we have access to some things that they may not be able to find on Indeed or LinkedIn, things like that. So it's great to be able to make those connections and just really be that matchmaking service that provides just the most beneficial relationship that we can possibly come up with between an employer and an employee.
I love that you said matchmaking, because I also wanted to make sure that we talked about the mission of the DPI Staffing. And if you don't mind, I'll just read it right now. Just the short piece of it is to identify and create job opportunities for people with employment barriers. And DPI has a knack, and this is what I put down. This isn't part of your statement, but DPI has a knack of connecting business and people to make great matches between business and people. And I love that. That's what it takes, right? It takes the time it takes to find good people and to match those businesses with those good people. We talked a little bit about the mission, the vision, some of the industries served, accolades. Tell us a little bit about some of the accomplishments, and maybe build the hype a little bit about DPI, Sarah.
We just got second place in the Idaho Statesman's, it's Boise Favorites, I think is what it's called.
Oh, cool.
And that is a vote from our people. So that's a vote from all of you, and to which we appreciate. Thank you very much. But between employees that we've worked with and employers that we've worked with, somebody loves us. We did something right. So, which, thank you, everybody. By the way, that was a real joy to win that.
Portland, 1971 was the founding of the organization. How long has the Boise operation been around?
10 years.
Okay.
10 years. But the amount of business development we did prior wasn't a focus. We were more government when we first got here. So a lot of people really haven't heard of us to this point, but we're making a little bit more effort to expand that now.
Well, after this show, they're going to know who you are.
They are, indeed. Thank you, Paul.
Hey, is there anything else that you'd like to educate the listeners on while I have you?
I want Jaci to talk just a little bit more about our screening process and talk about how we find you just exactly who you need, because she's very good at this.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So I personally, as a recruiter for DPI Staffing here in the Boise area or Idaho area in general, I'm a certified staffing professional. So that really starts, it's like a trickle down effect. Basically, that means that I just thoroughly understand the employment laws, not only for Idaho, but on a federal scale, to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and doing everything with the utmost integrity in our placements. And then really the process from the beginning starts when the applicant contacts us, or sometimes we contact them, depending on the type of recruitment that's being done. And then I take the process very seriously and really try to do a deep dive into every individual that applies, really going through the resumes, looking for those transferable skills, looking beyond just keywords and looking for experiences and personal experiences, and really chatting with the candidates to make sure, like, are you a great fit? Tell me about yourself. Tell me about what motivates you. What's your passions? Like, I want to know more than, tell me everything you did at your last job. I want to know you as a candidate, and I want to have a conversation with you as a person. So it all starts with that. And then when we escalate and everything looks great, the candidate seems like a great fit, I submit them. We go through a process of full onboarding, traditional new hire onboarding process. We offer our clients the option to add a drug screen into every onboarding. So we typically just align with our clients' policies on drug screening and background checks. We background check absolutely everybody that comes through with us. And then we are as transparent as possible about anything that comes back on backgrounds. And we encourage our candidates to be as transparent as possible too, just so we're maintaining that culture of integrity in everything that we're doing and in every placement. So that is really the full process, and everything is done by me when it comes to your candidates. I'm the person placing them. I'm the person chatting with them, getting them from point A to point B, and making you the right match, essentially.
Awesome. Well, I can tell that you care a lot about your organization, its mission, and most importantly, your team. I think that's so awesome. Sarah, Jaci, thank you for taking some time with me today to help share the DPI staffing story, your services and offerings. It's been great, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate this opportunity to share with everybody as well. It's amazing.
The bottom of the screen for those that are listening is the DPIstaffing.com website and Sarah's personal phone number. You're the business development director, and Jaci, you're the branch manager here in the local Boise office. Cheers. Have a great weekend, ladies.
Cheers to you, Paul. Thank you.
How are you doing?
Happy Friday.